Okay, so I just have to say this, but finding out I'm donor conceived meant that I gained some of the most incredible people in my life. And I'm so thankful that I took the 23andMe DNA test. And see, my whole life, I've always wanted to have sisters. I always wanted to have a bond with someone that is actually my sister. I know it sounds so weird, but I always knew that I had sisters, that I had to have had sisters, like multiple sisters out there in the world. And true story, fun fact, one of my besties from my raising church, when I was like in my 20s or something, I was over the age of 18 at this point, and she sent me a picture of a girl working at the MAC counter or makeup counter in the mall, and she looked so much like me. So she took a picture and sent it to me, and that's the picture I was reviewing. It might have been like one or two photos, but whatever. I first thought that she had seen me in the mall, because that was the mall that I had been going to get my nails done frequently. And so anyways, I would walk by. So whenever I'd walk by the makeup counters at that section of the mall after I got my nails done every 2 or 3 weeks, I would go and look for this girl, but I never did find her. And then whatever, like I just put it off as like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Someone has the same face shape as me and like the same height and everything. But what if that was one of my donor conceived siblings? Like, what if I missed out on the opportunity of meeting a sister of mine? And at that point in my life, in my 20s, of course, I had no idea that I was donor conceived. I thought that my parents were Peter and Lily. So anyways, I'm just so thankful that I took the test, because I gained siblings. And one of the siblings that I want to recognize is my donor conceived half sibling that I met through 23andMe, Sam. Now, when I met Sam, I was slightly disappointed, because my eyes feel wet today. But I was disappointed at first when I read that I had another brother named Sam. I was like, what? I know I have a sister, because on my 23andMe report, it said my donor dad, David, and then it showed my half brother, Sam. And then now, of course, it shows my other siblings. So now it's like I've added more to the report. But anyway, so I reached out to Sam, and I was like, I already have a brother. Why don't I have a sister? I thought to myself. But now, of course, after I've talked to him, after we met up in Texas, after we met actually we met up one time prior to meeting up in Texas for our sibling reunion, we call it, where I met all of my siblings. But I met him prior to that too. But that was super quick. It was just kind of like in passing. We were in the same city at the same time. So we're like, hey, let me stop by real quick and meet you and your wife. So it was fun. But he is truly the big brother that I didn't have. My big brother that I grew up with, I wish our relationship was stronger. I tried my best to get my family to like me for 30 plus years. So I still had relationships with my family, with my brother, my raising parents, whatever. I had relationships with them and tried to be a part of the family for as long as I did, even though I was ridiculed or like just disrespected in general. Like my family does not like me for whatever reason. And like they just don't get me, I guess. And there's a lot of secrets to be hidden, of course, and they control the narrative. But like I just wish my brother and I were never triangulated in my narcissistic household that I was brought up in, and there was a lot of competition between my brother and I, so like he just never got along with me. And my parents were okay with not parenting that part of the family relationship, like the sibling relationship. They didn't care. My parents did not care if my brother and I fought. It was like normalcy that my brother beat me up, and then I complained to my parents. My parents just like never did anything about it because my parents were abusive people. So like they were just like, yeah, get over it. You're the one who started it. Victim blaming. That's a whole rabbit hole I could go down. But I'm their donor conceived daughter. They're supposed to protect me. They wanted me so badly. Why didn't they protect me? Why didn't they nurture the relationship between my brother and I? So like when I met Sam, I was, again, like I'll be honest, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a little bit of a disappointment. But of course, he completely changed my mind when when we first started talking, all siblings, the 4 biological children of my donor, he had his own family, his own kids. So those siblings, and then my donor conceived half sibling Sam and I were all talking on Facebook chat, text messages, whatever, chat messages, and we really wanted to meet up. We thought that would be so exciting, and it was so exciting. Definitely one of the most rewarding moments in my life to be able to meet my siblings that I always knew I had, but I always thought to myself, that sounds so crazy, don't say that out loud. And now saying that out loud, it feels really good. And I'm really proud that I took the 23andMe test and I got the results and I figured out the truth. This was all meant to happen. Like all of this was perfect timing. We all met up in Texas. It was rewarding to finally to meet the people I have been destined to meet my whole entire life. And Sam was the one who set that up. Sam came with his wife and his daughters. Like, Sam had his own parents show up and hang out with us. That was so awesome, and I was so excited to meet these people. It was rewarding. It was everything I imagined it to be. And yeah, I'm just so happy that I found out I was donor conceived, although it meant that my parents would disown me for wanting to reach out to these other family members of mine because they are drowning in shame. You know, as much as that hurts, that they aren't emotionally mature enough to understand that we don't keep secrets from your own family member. Like, we just don't, it's not safe. I had a child in the hospital, needlessly ill, and at one point my daughter almost code blued. She did code blue, and they had to rush her into the OR to get her to start breathing again. Like, those are scary situations for me as a mother, and seeing as though I didn't have 50% of my medical history, and the doctors kept asking me, do you have these conditions in your family medical history so that we can run these tests? Because if you do, then we should X, Y, and Z. And I'd be like, let me go ask my parents. Let me go ask my husband's parents, or have my husband ask his parents, whatever. Ask his sister, There were so many opportunities, and the best of all opportunities was, of course, when I was a child and had asked, hey, Mom and Dad, my brother and I don't look alike, and everybody at school teases us about it and kind of pokes fun at, like, maybe we don't have the same dad. Is my dad really my dad? How sure of you are are you? Like, that Peter is my dad. I said those things. That's when parents should obviously, like, if you haven't started from birth, talk to them about their conception story and how truly special they are, right? How much of a gift and a miracle my parents would say to me, or my dad, not my mom. My dad would say stuff like that to me, and I never felt like I wasn't a burden. I always felt like my mom always thought I was a waste of time, that I was a waste of money, that I was a waste of her energy, and chose to enact in evil ways towards me, but I was really wanted and a gift. So like I knew there was dysfunction in my family starting at a young age. I just didn't know how to escape it. And then finding out I'm donor conceived, it was almost like, well, my parents made that choice for me. I mean, they pushed back on me and gaslit me even more, telling me, no, it's not that important, that you don't know, that don't tell anyone that first of all, don't tell anyone that you're donor conceived. If a parent says that to you and you're a donor conceived person listening, and they want to guilt and shame you into silence, no, I'm sorry. And my parents have not only done that just in that situation, but in other past situations. And I just had to say, absolutely not, I'm done. Having me hide my sexual abuse by taking me to a pediatrician's office when I was 17 years old by force and paid him right in front of me. And his name is Dr. Thomas Nachbar. I watched that. I watched it. And I was silenced and shamed and scared for my life. Because if my dad would pay a doctor to hide sexual abuse, who else will he pay to harm me again? Do you know what I mean? Like, they have the money, they have the means to pay people to do bad things. I chose to be friendly with my family for as long as I had to be because I was afraid of fill in the blank. What do you think? What do you think? They're not safe people. I never felt safe. I had to, after I turned 18, I put a lock on my door. And still, even with a key and lock on my door, I still didn't feel safe. My room, I don't even want to talk about it in this video. That's another video that I'll have to make. But circling back to why I started making this video is because I didn't know that meeting my donor-conceived siblings would change my perspective on me. And they are I see myself in them in so many ways. And I didn't know that I needed to have Sam in my life. I knew that I always had sisters, but I never thought like, oh, I must have another brother out there. I never thought that. And then when I first saw his name on my 23andMe, I was like, great, I have another brother. That's disappointing. And I told him, I'm 99% sure I looked at my husband and said, after looking at the test, like, I have a brother, but I don't have a sister. Like, what? Like, and then I thought maybe Sam has a sister or something, because then I started. And then when I talked to him, we got to talking and, but gosh, it's just, this is my crazy story, my crazy life. And I'm thankful that I took the 23andMe DNA test and I met my siblings and they changed my mind and it was for the best. And now I feel like I am mentally capable and healthier to share my story and to fight for my rights and stand up for what is wrong. It is wrong to lie to your child, and it is wrong to hide abuse. And if there's, and it's wrong to, I mean, just so many lessons we can learn from this story alone. Too many. But yeah, thanks for listening.